Okay, Yvonne Macadamia Nut. Now, I think we've spelt your name wrong on the thingy. Is it McAtamney?
McAtamney.
McAtamney.
No, I think you've been doing pretty good, actually.
What?
I think you've been doing pretty good.
I prefer macadamia nuts.
Well, it's more interesting.
Anyway, Happy New Year.
And to you. I wasn't quite sure if it was too late to say that, but
no,
obviously...
it's the first time we've seen each other.
Absolutely. A very happy and healthy New Year
and the
to
same
everyone.
To you.
And I just love to say that to my customers because obviously my shop's shut, so I haven't been able to say that in person to anybody. So let me take the opportunity. Happy New Year, everyone. Please stay healthy and safe. And I really, really am looking forward to seeing you in the flesh very soon.
When she says in the flesh, wear your clothes.
Oh, well.
You know.
Hey, do your own thing. Do your own thing, ladies.
Okay, so in this hour, normally I would stop and ask you lots of questions. I'm just going to let you go for it because I know you've got an awful lot to fit in. And if we go over, we go over a little bit, but I think it's important that people who've bought the kits or might be buying the kits today just see you doing sewing and I won't interrupt unless I've got an important message from Hannah. Yeah. I won't interrupt you.
That's absolutely wonderful. Now, if you do have questions out there, please do send them into the studio because I'm a lady, so I can multitask.
Okay, well, so I will have to interrupt you then.
Well, I think I'd like it to be as interactive as I can because I really want this to be like a class.
Okay.
This whole project we have taught as beginners classes for some time, and we've had to split it up so that we can make it viable to put on the television. So with the video, you should have all your cutting done.
Yeah.
In the pack, you have a very comprehensive set of instructions. On the first sheet of instruction, you have an area here where you can actually pop little samples of the fabric so that whenever you then turn to the diagrams, you know which fabric relates to which of the shadings on the diagrams. So you've all your cutting done, and the first thing that I want you to do is to turn to page number 4 in your instructions, and we are going to do what is called a 9-patch block and a frame assembly. So if I just move that, and if we can just, what I have now done is referring to the diagram and to the little patches that you have on your front page, you have now laid out one of the 9-patch blocks. So that is row 1. This is row 3, and they are identical. Yeah. And then you have your central row. So let's sew. I'm going to do row 1 and row 3 because they are absolutely identical. So with your nice precise cutting, you should have those bang on top of one another. They should be level and you should be square. Remember that you have set your sewing machine up to 1/4 of an inch seam, either from using a walking foot or adjusting your machine. Your stitch length should be something like a 2.4 or a 2.5. That is sufficient for sewing 2 pieces of fabric together. So pop your foot down. Don't go too fast. It isn't really a race. You want to be accurate. Precision is the name of the game. So I'm going to go through 1 seam done. I'm going to let that stay there, and I'm going to do the same with the top row. So I'm happy that the distance between my needle and the edge of my foot on this machine is 1/4 of an inch. This is what people would call chain piecing. It saves a little bit of thread, and probably it's a little bit faster. But I'm very lucky in that I've got a pair of scissors on this machine, which is really helpful. And I now have my ends on here. So that's going to be there. That's going to be there. So we're going to just put the other ones on. So this is a very straightforward 3.5 inch seam. So don't panic. Just make sure that you have you want to sew from the very end. So you do want to make sure that your needle is lined up with the edge of your fabric. Okay,
Got a quick question. Somebody said, do you do backwards and forwards, a reverse stitch at the end?
No, I don't, because each of these seams will be encased in another seam within the quilt, and you will also be layering it up, so it's not necessary, and it doesn't distort the end. Right, scissors. Now, this is not the machine I normally sew on, ladies, so there are no excuses for you if you're just starting out on a machine that you haven't used before, because I haven't used this one before. So if I can do it, you can do it. Now, accuracy and precision, those were the words I used earlier. These seams need, whenever I talk about a seam, I'm talking about seam allowance. So this seam should measure 1/4 of an inch from my stitches to the edge of my fabric. Now the way to measure that is along the length of a ruler, not like this, okay? Not like that, because it can be a different length, yeah? These little 12 by 1 inch rulers are very, very useful to have. So 1/4 inch. At this point, whenever you measure these seams, if you do not have 1/4 of an inch, take it out. That's what quick unpicks are for. You will notice that I have one with me, yeah, just in case, because I sometimes don't follow my own instructions, as John will tell you.
I'm staying quiet. I'm saying nothing in this hour.
I'm not really letting you get a word in edgeways, am I? So what I'm doing here is I'm setting the seam. So that's simply a little bit of pressure down here to let the stitches fall into the fabric a little bit more. Now I'm going to do something that's a little bit different here. I'm going to actually not press to the dark side. I'm going to press to the cream, simply because it will allow me to press the 9 patch out. It'll all become clear, ladies, don't panic.
And gentlemen.
And guys.
Oh, there you go, guys.
You guys, I think it's a horrible expression, really, but it does serve its purpose. So what I have done is I have set the seam. Yeah. Yeah. And you will notice that I am pressing from the front. I am not pressing from the back, because I cannot allow a little ridge to form, because it will distort the length. Okay.
Do you do that one the same? Are you pressing to the cream side again on that one? Yeah.
Yes, because this is row 1 and 3. Okay, so one could say we're 2/3 of the way done, but that wouldn't actually be the case. So we've sewn 2 pieces together, 3 pieces together there. We're going to do exactly the same here. These, however, are much shorter seams. So, and you will note that what I'm going to do is I haven't lifted any of the layout that I have here. This is my pattern. This is my reference.
Thank you.
That's all right. New iron as well, ladies. So, it's very, very important that you press as you go. So it is really useful to have a good iron. This one is really very close on hand here. Sometimes it can be of benefit to have it a little bit further away, just so you get up from your sewing machine.
Get your steps in.
Get your steps in. Now, I hope you can see that each time I pick these up and put them on top of each other, I am making sure that I cannot see the fabric that is below. Okay? That means
there you go, coming in.
That means I'm level and square, yeah?
Yep.
Can't see the red fabric below. So I'm going to sew this. I'm going to sew 3 of these. And I wobbled a little bit there, so we'll just... No, stopped it in time. No panic. Remember that this is not a race at home for you, ladies. Take your time. Little things that can go wrong do go wrong. Let me say that you want to do this in good light, because on a couple of these fabrics, the cream one here, it's very easy to get the wrong side as the right side, because it's very well printed. And it is, you want to try and make sure you've got the right side up each time. And I'm not even sure I've done that, you know.
What?
I think that one is the wrong way up. No.
Oh.
I know. But
How can you tell?
Well, you just have to peer at it. Actually, there's generally a little bit of a sheen. But it does depend. Right. Before I press, let me show you how I'm going to press. Yeah. Because we need these rows to be in opposition, the seams to be in opposition to each other, so that we can butt or nest the seams together. Okay? So this occasion, I am going to press to the red.
Right.
Okay? So just lay them back out. See that you've got everything going in the right direction. We're going to set a seam. Again, pressing from the front along that seam, and we're going to put it back down, and then we know we're in the right order. Sounds as though everyone's concentrating very hard at home, don't you think?
I'm not interrupting, but what Hannah's telling me is there are loads and loads of new buyers on the phone line and joining the web line and things like that. So remember, the phone number is completely and utterly for free. And if you need to ask any questions, you can either email in, Facebook Live in, or message on the web.
Okay.
I'm just trying to stay silent, as quiet as I can. And I'm finding it very difficult, I have to say, because I'm normally butting in, aren't I?
I think you're doing admirably.
Good.
So I'm starting to pick up again from the middle. So I'm going to lift that and that. Again, I'm level and square so that I have...
Well, could you just push that forward a little bit for me, Yvonne?
Sorry.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I can't see the fabric in below. If you feel more confident, put a pin in. Don't put too many pins in, because they will just cause you panic as you sew. Okay, so I'm going to lift this one. This one's going on here. You just need to get confident with your sewing machine. And take your time, methodically, little steps. At this point, whenever we have this as a class, I'm generally chattering on about threads and things like that, because it is important that you use good quality thread in your sewing machine.
But you've included the thread in the kit anyway, haven't you? So you haven't got to worry about anything like that on this.
And that's why you have Gutermann thread and Mettler thread. They have.
But you can have loads of that left over, because you're not going to use a whole spool, are you, on this project?
It's the beginning of your stash of useful threads, I hope. Because
Nancy says she's loving this demo. Good morning, loving the demo.
Oh, thank you. Haven't gone wrong yet, so things aren't going too badly.
No.
I have done this once or twice, and I have actually sewn some of these with a grandchild on my lap, so that.
Oh.
But,
we left the grandchild at home today.
Oh, yeah. Oh gosh, yes. So we now have 3 rows that form our 9 patch. Now this is where you do need some pins. We do generally suggest that you use some long, thin pins, flower-headed pins, or what we would tend to sell in the shop.
I'll show you all these later. At the end, when I do my roundup, I'll show you everything that Yvonne's using.
So what we have now are seam allowances that are...
Hold that there, because we haven't come in on that yet.
Okay. seam
There you go,
allowances
there you go.
that are in opposition to one another. So I can nest this seam allowance up against the one that's in there. So I'm rolling those up and down there so that I can make sure that I am nice and tight. Now the only way I can do this is this way round. Isn't that strange? I always do it. Some people can do it sideways.
Yeah.
For me, it's this. I'm now going to put 2 pins in, and I'm putting pins in on either side of the stitch line,
Right.
so that I'm locking the stitches together and I'm keeping the seam allowances flat.
Do you know what? I know I wasn't going to interrupt, but we've got some like fork pins that you can put them at the same time, put it through at the same time, so you can take both seam allowances.
I haven't seen.
And they're incredibly sharp, so you can really do what you've just done using 2 pins, but using the one pin. I'll show you them afterwards.
Well, that is an excellent product. I hadn't seen those. So, what, ladies, you know, don't make excuses for not starting this by saying I haven't got the right.
No.
The
I'm
right
not saying.
pin.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, oh no, but you know, where there's a will, there's a way. If this is something that you want to do and you've now got the time, because you've got a little bit of time at home, then, you know, give it a try. Now, I'm going to do something quite naughty. I'm going to sew over these pins. But look, I'm doing it not at breakneck speed. These are fine pins and the machine will glide over them.
It wouldn't dare not with Yvonne in charge, would it?
Well, you know, if I were to go at breakneck speed, then yes, I'm going to break a needle.
Yeah.
But, oh, I was too fast for the machine. There we go. So we're now going to pop the pins out and perfect little joins, yeah.
Are we able to do that from upstairs, Emma, or not? Oh, no. Can you move? Are you able to put it in the centre of the table where your block is so that we could just... Only because so we can see how perfect these... the matching is of those.
Yeah.
There you go. Look, there you go.
Okay, now this one obviously not attached yet, but yeah.
So you haven't pressed it yet. You've just checked that they're in the right place before you press it.
I have, because once you have pressed, it's really quite difficult to unpress. Do you know what I mean? It wants to... And again, I'm not pressing from the back. I didn't set that seam. I should have done.
Okay. That was my fault. Put you off.
But I press from the front because at this point, this piece should be the same size as here, plus 1/4 inch. And if it's not, I'm in trouble. So you want to be measuring across here, and I should be at 6.5 inches, and I am. Yeah. Measure, check as you go. So we now have to join this on. Now, ladies, what I fear that I will only be able to make one of these blocks in the time that we have, but we're going to see. But we're doing this one first because it is the easier of the two.
But you're going to be able to do the 9 patch and the friendship style. What you're saying is you're not going to do two of them.
What I'm going to do next is the friendship star, John. Yeah. Because it is slightly more difficult, but I decided not to start with it because this just builds your confidence a little bit. Okay, but we are going to complete one of these, and all you have to do is to do this a second time. And as with everything, you know, repetition, practice is the key to getting things, get comfortable with your machine, to get comfortable with what you're sewing, and just get better. And just wasn't quite square on the end of that row. My machine at home has an automatic lift.
Oh, we have ones that do that as well. We just don't trust you with them.
Well, obviously, you know.
Set your seam, set your seam.
Thank you.
Okay.
I think it's something dressmakers are more used to than
Press
quilters.
every time you sew. Every time you sew a seam, you should press it. Yeah.
And I now should have a 6.5-inch square, which is just going to sit in there. So we now are popping our sides on. Going to take the opportunity of putting pins in to keep my seam allowances flat. So I'm going to put one pin there. Now you see, make sure you can't see the fabric below. So you should be, there we go.
Okay, message coming from Derek. It's all written in capital letters. We love Yvonne. We love Yvonne. Is that because she told me off? Is that why you love her?
Oh, well, people are very kind. You know, I get quite embarrassed, actually.
Oh. All right. We hate Yvonne. We hate Yvonne. Is that better?
Well, it's very kind of them to take the time to say so, because, you know, nowadays we do tend to be very quick to complain. And not
I was going to say, it's
to...
so easy to write an email to give a complaint, isn't it? But not so, these, you know, people are much easier, find it much easier to write a letter of complaint than they do a letter of...
Absolutely.
Yeah. Right,
Absolutely.
I'm going to slug my water while you're saying that.
Okay. So that's one side done. Set the seam. And this time I'm pressing my seam allowance out to the ivory.
Do you want me to unpick it?
No, I don't need to unpick it. Don't need to unpick it.
Okay.
We are simply going to press that in the other direction.
Okay, different direction, yeah.
So.
How many of these have you made, did you say?
Too many. Too many. What we're aiming for always is to have our seams in opposition to one another.
Yeah.
And if I press that in there, I'm going the wrong. Those are going in, so that needs to go out.
You were doing it right.
I was doing it right. It was all those compliments, you see, that we're getting the
Where do you think that's bad? Put that message in. I find watching Yvonne is very comforting, from Pat in Ceredigion.
Oh. Right, I shall just concentrate on my sewing. This is all about getting information out to you guys out there so that you can take up this really great hobby. Because it is really, you have to spend enough of your brain concentrating to get the accuracy that it's mindful,
Which is what I all need at the moment.
But also quite relaxing.
Okay, I don't want to embarrass you even more, but Yvonne is a brilliant teacher, so calm and inspiring, makes me feel I could do it. June, you could do this?
Yeah, of course. That's what this is all about. This is beginners, you know. This is, well, as I say, you know, I haven't sewn on this sewing machine before. I'm doing it standing up. You know, ladies, who sews standing up, you know? So you can do this. Little steps. There are, I think it's 7 pages of instruction in this kit. You have diagrams as well as words, so whichever way you learn, I think we have it covered. If you're good at words, you're okay. If you're good with pictures, that's fine. If you actually need to see it being done, we're even doing that for you, okay? So, no excuses allowed.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Yvonne is so calm, she explains everything wonderfully well. That's from Barbara. They're all coming in now.
Wow.
Absolutely loving it. Sue and Donald said it's given us confidence to have a go.
Well, that's what this is all about, you know. You're never too old to learn. I think it's really important as we get a little bit older. So again, we are going to make sure that our seams are in the right places, okay? So we have our seam allowances in opposition, and we're just going to roll that down, pins in either side of the stitch line, holding the seam allowance in place. Let me get through there. Same over here.
Karen loves the demo and your nails.
Oh, thank you. This is my younger daughter.
Is that a job?
No, she just likes doing it. And of course, in our current situation, it is something actually that we can do.
Yes.
So thank you. Yes, I've got a little bit of sparkle.
Oh.
My grandson loves to play with some of the accoutrements that go with it. So that's the, you know, I'm sure you're not au fait with this, but to take this stuff off, you've got these little clippers, little pincher things that you put some acetate onto a little pad, and then you put that on the nail.
And wrap them in silver foil.
Well, you've got little clips, like little clips. So of course he loves to play with those, like sort of Edward scissors.
Hands.
Stitches. I've got pins in a few places along here. Want to be square on the end. I really should have popped a few more pins in. I'm going to take the time and put the pins in the seam allowances through that center block. Okay, going to sew along here, and we nearly have one block sewn. We just simply have to do the same on the other end.
Okay, Linda says, 2 Lindas have come in. Such a lovely, gentle, caring lady. Thank you for giving me my sewy, crafty head. And another Linda with a Y says, love Yvonne's demos, clear and precise, makes you feel you can actually achieve it yourself. And Patsy says, loving the demo, wanted to try quilting for ages, now I'm going to give it a go. Thank you, Yvonne. And Kate says, good morning, what a relaxing demo. You are helping me prioritise my working day, assessing H&S work. I suppose that's health and safety.
Health and safety.
So we'll start with a sewing fix and a coffee.
Oh, that's always a good way to start.
Very quickly, one across the bottom. I started with this kit about 6 to 7 years ago, and now I'm creating my own designs, all thanks to Yvonne and her team from Mandy in Basingstoke.
Oh, Mandy has made some wonderful quilts for having attended our beginners class. One of our very original beginners classes, and she's made some wonderful quilts since then.
Oh, but that's lovely that she started with this.
Yeah.
And now she's designing her own complicated quilts, I think.
Yeah, all kinds of Celtic work and
wow.
ones that look like have an Art Deco feel to them. Just wonderful. So again, well, I think it kind of shows that she learnt the basics. If you learn the basics, then you can always develop from there.
Yeah.
There's no point in taking shortcuts to learn. Again, I always tell people at our beginners weekends that what I'm trying to do is to teach them how to write. But we're going to start with the basics of printing. Then we're going to go and do some, joined up stuff. And then once you've learnt, you then develop your own style. Mm-hmm. And of course, some handwriting develops very nicely and some of it becomes totally illegible. But it is
all different as well.
But it is totally unique to the individual, and they are doing it with the knowledge that they can write. It can be understood. Okay, we almost have a block.
Love it when Yvonne's on. Been looking forward to this show. Thanks, Yvonne, for a great demo and tips. Just finished one of your patterns, a pillow wreath. Lots of love, Lucy.
Oh, yeah. Pillow wreaths are a great thing to do with children, because they're like little baby pillows that you sew up, and then you need to stuff. And little people's fingers are just the right size for putting some stuffing into those little pillows, and then you tie them on to a wreath, and wreaths are very in these days.
Question about the needles. The needles you need to use are in the kit, aren't they?
Yes. We always suggest that you use a size 80 needle whenever you're stitching cotton. You don't need anything thicker. It just is the right size for the thread you're using.
And do you use the same needle to piece as you do to quilt?
Yes. There are quilting needles, but again, it's an additional cost. But I would always start off with a size 80, even if it was a quilting needle.
Right.
The difference between a quilting needle and a universal needle is simply that the eye of the needle is a little bit further up, so that it gives the machine the opportunity to form the stitch through the thicker layer, through the sandwich.
All the needles you need are in the kit?
If your machine starts to play up, as sometimes they do whenever you start quilting, now laying out the Friendship Star block.
Just coming in, there you go.
And this is where we're looking to make sure we have our ivory fabric right way up. In the middle. It's really important you lay this out, and particularly this one, because it is very easy to put the half square triangle blocks in the wrong way round.
On the one behind the wall, it's got a different fabric, hasn't it?
It has.
You've got the floral, the mini floral there.
Yeah, I have, because we ran out of fabrics to make the quantity that we needed to make for you. So we introduced this one, and some people will actually have this. And I thought the fact that I was making it on here today,
oh no, definitely,
let me get away with that one. Okay, so we're all laid out the way we need to be. So let's do. You know how to do that. You know how to do this row, because they're just...
Yeah.
So let's start in the middle with this one, because what we need to do are to sew these triangles together. Now, whenever you were cutting these out, I did tell you to sort of set these aside and don't play around with them, because you have a bias edge here, and you don't want to stretch it.
Just bring it to your right, just about that's it. To your right, that's perfect, perfect.
Yeah, you don't want to stretch this edge if you can possibly avoid it.
A quick question. Linda says, does Yvonne have a Facebook group? Would love to see more of her inspiring tutorials and advice.
Oh, not more work. No.
Oh, no.
Not currently.
How do people find you if they want to find you, apart from here?
Well, Village Fabrics is my shop. Village Fabrics has a Facebook page, as we also have a website. So on our website, all of the kits that appear are designed either by myself or a lady called Linda Earle, who works for me, and we do all of our own designing. I write all of the instructions, so if they're wrong, it's my fault, and I apologise.
You know where to complain. It's villagefabrics.co.uk if you want to go and find it.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, and when you buy the kit, you'll already have this if you bought it before, but if you're buying it today for the first time, when this arrives, there's a link inside it to take you to a video of Yvonne cutting everything out. So if you're thinking today, oh, they haven't done any cutting, it's because that's on that video, because we didn't want to spend half of today's show showing you how to cut it out. So that's a separate video, and then this is so you can either recorded this one, or this will be on our YouTube channel forever if you want to watch it.
And once I finish today, I'm doing another couple of little VTs.
Right.
Listen to me,
Listen
VTs.
to you, VTs.
That I'm going to talk about the quilting.
Oh, okay.
Because we have quilted each of these samples in a different way.
Oh, okay.
Because they are samples.
Yeah.
And also going to show you how to put the binding on.
Oh, good, because we won't get around to that today.
No,
No, I think it's important that we show how to carry on doing this block. But you know, it would be a 2-hour thing if we did the backing and the binding and everything like that, I would imagine.
Considering that we teach this over a weekend.
Oh, okay.
I obviously can sew it faster than a beginner does.
Yeah.
But it still is quite an intense couple of days.
Yeah. And we're trying to do it in an hour.
So I think in this instance, I am pressing these to the cream again. Don't ask me why, it just seems like a good idea. Set seams, flatten that bias bit out. But
Yvonne, Alison Marion says, I've said it before and I'll say it again, Yvonne's shop is the best. Well worth a special trip when we can, obviously. When we can.
Well, she has, and I thank you for that. I'm very fortunate that I have a large shop. For many years, I've complained about having to fill that with product. I'm very grateful of it nowadays because, of course, it allows us to safely social distance.
Oh, of course, yeah. But you're not open at the moment, are you?
No.
Are you doing online orders?
We're doing online. I have my Rosie elf is in the shop by herself, so she's safe.
She's not allowed in or out.
Oh well.
Just put food under the door at night time for her.
Something like that. But it does mean that we are at the end of a telephone line. Yeah. We can process orders, and we have our own version of click and collect.
Okay.
Which we're allowed to do.
Right.
So people can phone up.
But if somebody lives the other end of the country that can't come and click it, you do.
We post.
Yeah.
But for any of our local ladies who are out exercising, we have a big red plastic box outside our door.
There you go.
And we wrap everything up in paper, pop it in there, and then we can sanitize the plastic box. And the paper is a good medium for not retaining germs. So this red box has been doing sterling work.
Oh.
And
so now you've sewn all the half square triangles together.
I have, and I placed them back in situ.
Yeah. And now you're going back again and doing the rows. Is that what you're doing next?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is going to go there. Yeah. Now I'm going to press this seam to the cream.
Janet says, my son went into Yvonne's shop to buy my Christmas presents. The staff were really helpful and I love all of my presents. Thank you, Yvonne, from Janice.
Oh, that's wonderful, because sometimes sons don't come in with the best idea of what it is their mothers actually want.
But nice that they've actually thought about it and not just gone, they can have flowers and chocolates or whatever. They've thought, my mum loves sewing.
Absolutely. But, that's really, really nice. We try. We try. Well, as I always say to people, we enjoy what we do. And I think whenever you enjoy what you do, it shows in how you do it. Mm-hmm. And everyone who works for me, including my Saturday girl, also. Molly is doing a design course. She's doing foundation.
Oh, wow.
On, remotely
currently,
but she's doing that. So
I feel so sorry for I feel so sorry for people, but
absolutely.
for students who are, you know what I mean? The whole point of going to a college is to do the socialising and the mixing and swapping of ideas. And if you're at home, just doing it on your own.
And of course, it's learning a bit of self-discipline at college, where at school, you know, you were told you had to do this. Whenever you move on to A-levels or foundation courses, you're left a bit more to your own devices, but you've still got enough structure as a stepping stone towards university. Yeah, I'm so grateful that my family are either too young or too old for school at the minute.
You're never too old, Yvonne.
Well, no, but you know,
I know what you mean, yeah.
So I'm just continually joining squares together to get rows.
The shop, Peter, is in Wallingford,
Oxfordshire.
Oxfordshire. That's where the shop is.
I'm about 10 miles south of Oxford.
Right, but you can't go. Don't go there now. Don't go there now. It's not open. It's not open.
No, obviously some crafters would consider us essential.
Yes.
But
well, your red box is.
My red box is, but we need to be safe. We need to be sensible.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I'm not chain piecing these as I did earlier, because this just takes a little bit more precision. And I think the big iron actually allows you to just flatten the whole thing across.
Yeah.
See, we're starting to get there.
Emma, how many minutes have we got of sewing left, please?
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, 15 minutes of sewing. We're all right. Oh, did you see that face then?
Didn't. I just looked, John. I just looked.
No, there was a look. There was a look.
Well, no, I'm not obviously going to be able to make the second 9 patch block. No. But I think I can probably.
But the second 9 patch is identical to the first one, isn't it?
Yes. Which is why I thought we should do it that way round. I'm probably, of course, going to have to make it up so that we can show you the completed thing.
Yeah.
In the VTs this afternoon.
We'll have to find out where they're going to put the VTs as well. Will it be the same place that they get their cutting one from?
Beyond my pay grade, sorry.
No, exactly. Pay.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, you're doing it for love because you enjoy what you do. You said that earlier.
I am because sharing is important.
Yeah, it is.
So, okay, we're back on creating our rows together. So we are rolling back to see that our seams are going to be nestled beside each other. And of course I've got one seam going the wrong way. So we are just going to force it to go the other way. And again, this helps with whenever you pop the pins in. Now I'm going to take my time and make sure that that is actually where it should be, and it is. I was just thinking, my daughter is going to be delighted that someone mentioned my nails. It's going to be a real thrill for her.
I'm desperate to ask, but I dare not open my mouth.
Oh,
we want to know how the extension's coming on.
Oh, I don't know how many walls I'm going home to this afternoon.
Oh, okay.
There is a wall coming down between, I have windows in my extension. I have doors. I'm airtight. Is that weathertight?
Yeah.
Whatever they... I don't, however, have any radiators in the extension yet.
Oh.
And all the radiators were on walls that were removed before Christmas across the back of the house. And where I live over in Worcestershire, it was really quite cold for a few, couple of weeks.
Last week it was freezing cold, yeah.
Well, I'd snow. We had maybe 4 inches of snow. But all the stud walls are starting to appear.
Good.
And
also, at least it's all, like say, weatherproof or weathertight or whatever. At least it's kind of a complete thing. Anyway, let's get back on with the friendship style. But that was I've been dying to ask, and Hannah was like, "John, ask her how her kitchen's going."
Well, there's going to be a little bit of a utility, and the units for that have arrived. And all of the appliances have arrived for my main kitchen. So we have these huge boxes sitting everywhere. And whenever walls are coming down, there is such a lot of dust. So stuff that was in the kitchen is now in my bedroom. Stuff that was in the dining room is in the living room. And so it goes on.
Yeah.
I was having a bit of complaint to the builder yesterday because he was saying, it won't be long now until it's all settled again. I'm saying it's going to be at least 6 weeks.
Yeah, but at least you know they're doing it properly. If you'd gone home and gone, right, we're finished, Mr. McAtamney, we're finished now, you'd be like, oh, hang on,
I cannot fault the workmanship. The workmanship has been really
so it'll
wonderful.
Be worth it. I've got a question about what did you say? About the pressing. Here we go. Not about the kitchen. Hi, John. Can you ask Yvonne if she's a dry or steam iron when she presses the seam? Thank you, from Jackie.
Dry.
Dry
iron. Steam irons stretch things.
That one's been sounding like it's.
I know, but
we don't know how to switch that noise off.
Well, it's beyond. Again, this is my first time with this.
Yeah, so at home,
I don't
on
press
your iron
those
at home,
things.
switch the steam completely off and empty the water out of the iron.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you have problems, if things are not the right size, then you steam it.
Right.
Because you will be able to stretch the whole thing, you'll be able to stretch things. So that is not what you want to be doing. You simply want to be putting everything flat.
Yeah.
Not stretching it, not moving it.
Morning, John. I visited Yvonne's shop prior to the first lockdown and she was so helpful and saved me a lot of money with her advice. Regards, Sue in Oxfordshire.
Oh, very
That's nice.
Yeah, well, again, my philosophy is that I want people coming back to my shop.
Yeah.
I don't want to fleece them or whatever.
Exactly.
That's not.
What's the point? Because a repeat custom is so important. And if they come in once and you rip them off, they're not going to come back again, and they're going to tell their friends not to come, aren't they?
Absolutely, and it's just not what I do.
Trouble is, I wish lots of people, more people need to learn that, don't they? Really.
I think it's yes. I think as a business model, people need to be keeping customers as opposed to
frightening them off. Right.
Absolutely. We have one friendship star.
Hey.
Okay, in the middle. We're going to now attach that on there.
See, that iron's making a steam noise. There's no steam coming out of it, is there? So
maybe there's no...
maybe there's no water in it, which is because you're not steaming.
No, perhaps... Well,
don't worry.
I can't see anything to switch off if that... Okay, I'm just popping some pins in. Again, at the position where the seam allowances are. So I've going through those, I'm going to just turn it around and do the other one at the same time.
Yeah.
Now, if I had a little bit more time, I would be snipping off all these ears.
Yeah.
Okay, so do that because you want to keep your bulk as down as much as you can. But certain pieces, it's important that you take your time to do. And this is one of them.
But also, we're doing it because we love it, because we want, it's a hobby. We don't need to rush through it. We don't need to, you take your time. The mindfulness is all, it's all about, you're not in a competition. You're doing it for the joy of doing it. So go at the speed that you want to go at.
I agree entirely. Yeah. Can I take the rest of the day then? To make
well, you could, but you've got about 2 minutes. But oh, what was that noise?
Nothing, John. Absolutely nothing.
I'm going to come to one of your classes. When we're allowed to go back to classes, I'm going to come and I'll be at the back, heckling from the back row.
John, you'd be most welcome, honestly.
I'd love it, because everyone's right. It's so comforting watching you do this. I mean, obviously, I'd have to come and do some sewing and everything, but it's just really, really lovely because you can tell how much you love what you do by the amount of care you're putting into it. And I'm not trying to embarrass you or make you all...
Make me go all wobbly again.
Yeah.
When we get back to some kind of normality, it would be wonderful to, have you come visit.
Oh, definitely.
Do a show from there.
Yeah,
who knows?
Yeah.
Outside broadcast.
Oh, look at you. So we've done, what we've done? We've done VTs and outside they're called OBs in the industry.
Oh.
OBs. We'll get Elliot onto it. I'm sure he's got an OB van.
Right.
Anne says, morning both, lovely watching you. A breath of fresh air. Thank you, Anne, my love.
Okay, so as I was doing those 2 side seams, I've also done the bottom row.
Okay.
Just as a...
Time saver.
Trying to... So always pressing from the front.
I love Yvonne. I'm trying again with her because I haven't had good... Oh, hang on. I'm trying again... right, let me read this properly. I'm trying again with her because I haven't had good results in the past. Not I'm trying again with her. I haven't had good results in the past.
It's step by step.
Huh?
It's always step by step.
Yeah, exactly.
Not to try and rush too much. So that's going to go on there. Let me just see if we can... If Hannah can let us have a couple of minutes more, we might get this block made.
Oh, keep going.
Come on, she's you sweet talker into.
We'll just carry on talking. If I don't say, we'll do a roundup now, just to keep. What can they do? Take the screen to black? Like to see them try.
Absolutely.
And it's also Emma's first day directing on her own as well. With
oh,
her,
so.
It's fine. We'll blame Emma. Yes. Oh, so were you in yesterday? So it's not your first day. It's first day with us. It's our first day with us. Yeah. Yeah, she had some awful producer yesterday, apparently.
Okay, so I'm pressing towards the dark. And that one's going to fit there.
Yeah.
So, some pins. So you, of course, have a diagram in the instructions to follow.
Yeah.
But this is all about nesting seams together, butting them together, whatever word you want to use.
Nesting's a nice one. So when you get it, you're saying sit down, have a cup of tea, read through the whole pattern so you're au fait with the whole pattern before you even touch the fabric or anything like that.
I think so.
Yeah.
You want to take step by step, and the cutting instructions, besides the video link that you have, there are diagrams to have set beside you as you are cutting. You know, you can cut along with me because I did cut it in real time.
Maureen says, I love watching Yvonne. Next time, can you give her 2 hours? Maybe we will. The thing is, we are going to do, Yvonne, Maureen, we are going to do VT's videos of the next stages that when you buy it, you'll get the link to go through to them to do those as well. I'll ask Elliot in the break where they're going to put them.
So just making sure I'm square on the end.
Valerie, John, I sit at the back for Yvonne's classes. You cannot have my seat. From Valerie in Abingdon. Valerie, I'll sit next to you. Is there other two seats together at the back?
We have in normal times, we can take 12 people and everybody has their own sort of 4-foot desk.
Oh.
So we can put you in the corner, John. Well, there's always a couple of corners.
Nobody puts baby in the corner.
We have people who started at our beginners classes as, well, just talking about Mandy earlier. And they're still coming to us like 7 years on.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's not only about the sewing, is it?
Oh,
it's
no.
the whole thing about sewing and quilting, everything, it's a social side to it.
Very much
community
so.
side.
You know, groups of ladies form wonderful friendships.
Do you have ladies come to your class then?
We've had a couple of gentlemen. We've had a Derek. Derek was...
We've had a Derek.
We've had a Derek who really... must have been a draftsman or something before he retired. He was so precise with what he was doing.
I think the amount of men doing the quilting and sewing side is getting more and more. Because I can just see from when we started Sewing Quarter the amount of men on the Facebook page and things like that, and the more interaction we have with them.
I think being able to use sewing machines for patchworking has opened it up to more men because they don't seem to be quite as dexterous with their fingers.
Oh, okay.
You know, so they don't seem to be. Now, I know I'm generalising.
Yes.
They just don't seem to be as agile with their fingers for hand sewings, but very good on a sewing machine and very accurate. And
well, as you say, if they've been draftspeople or engineers in the past, they're going to be the perfect patchworker, aren't they? Because of the precision and straight lines and everything.
Many gentlemen cut out, do all the cutting out for their wives, partners, whatever the politically correct terminology happens to be today.
Yeah. Well, Louisa, who owns Sew Motion, Justin, her husband, does all her cutting out for her.
Yeah. I would hate that, actually.
Well, letting go of the reins.
Yeah. Whenever you do your own cutting out, you have to live with your mistakes.
Yes, yeah. Oh, yeah, if someone else has done it,
and it just makes you a little bit A little bit more accurate, I think.
Janice had that on. Janice, one of our experts, she let her mum, or she was so busy, she got her mum to cut out her quilt as you go pieces. Didn't check them. Got on air the next morning with me, and none of the pieces really fitted properly. And it wasn't Janice's mum's fault, and we're not picking on Janice's mum, but she said she was standing at the table like where you are, and it was when we were at Zone Quarter, and literally she could see that none of the pieces were going to fit, but didn't want to dump her mum in it, sort of thing, there and then. So she was just like trying to make the best of it and everything. Oh, look, that's fantastic, that block.
So that one's not so bad. It could be a little bit better. I've missed a point there, which I would not be happy with. We are now going to join that to that.
Yeah. So in real life, you'd have 3. So you'd have the 9 patch, then the Friendship Star, then another 9 patch.
Yep. So it's the same process again. This time, of course, we're going across the 12.5 inches at this point. So a few more pins are required. In the VTs, I'm going to talk about how to quilt.
Right.
I'm going to show you how we have quilted the 4 samples, because we have done each of them in a different manner.
If we do a sew along again like this, what we should do is we should do the patchwork in this hour, and then come back with sandwiches, not sandwiches picnic, but the quilt sandwiches, and then spend the second hour doing the binding and the quilting, maybe.
Well, that would be ideal, but there are commercial pressures to be taken into account.
But having said that, this has been a very very popular hour. So what you could do maybe is have you showing how to do it, but using the tools. And then have the tools for sale in the same hour. And then
what a splendid idea,
just helping you out, so that because I know everyone watching at home is thinking, oh, we need another hour now for the quilting and the sandwiching and the binding and everything.
I think holding people's hand right the way through is a great way to teach.
But you are right. Normally you couldn't do every day like this, because we have got a rent to pay and electricity to pay and things like that, and even though
presenters even
that's way down the list. But do you know what I mean? As in, you know what I mean. Anyway,
I do.
No. Do you share another message? Oh, to read to me from Linda while you're saying that. So Linda says, "Hello, Yvonne. Love watching you. Remember attending a beginner's workshop at your shop. Such a fantastic teacher, and what a lovely lady." Was somebody else on that day then?
Must have been, wasn't it? Okay, so we have to pretend that we have 3 blocks.
Yeah.
And again, going to press, and I'm going to press. Now, the pressing I have been constantly talking about, and it is important, and the real importance of where things are getting pressed becomes clear whenever you are quilting.
Yeah.
Because if you want to quilt in the ditch, then you want to be in the shadow of your seam allowance.
Right.
And you need your seam allowances to be in straight lines if you can possibly achieve that. So this is the front. This is your centre.
Oh, just bring it to your right a little bit for me, Yvonne. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So that's the centre. That's one end. And there's another, a second block to be attached down here. And I'm just going to flip it over, and we should see that we have nice flat seams on the back. Okay.
Brilliant.
So
I'm going to have to stop you there now.
I'm going to go and lie down in a darkened room for an hour, I think.
You've got another hour to do yet later with a bag and everything. So
I do.
That was absolutely brilliant. So I'm going to recap everything now that Yvonne's done. I think you'll agree that was a really, really, really good workshop.
Appreciate you saying.